Wait a minute, guys. Do not get a real estate office for your wholesaling operations. Guys, in this video, I'm going to show you why getting an office is the last thing you ever want to do when starting a wholesale real estate business. So listen, before I jump in, do me a favor, smash that like button, hit that subscribe button. We're going to keep feeding you content like this, myself and Zach. Let me go over why I think you should never get a office for wholesaling real estate. Number one, I've done it. And actually I've done it 1, 2, 3. I've done it 4 times. And I've come back to the same premise every time after doing it, meaning it was not good for my real estate investing business, particularly wholesaling. And I'm going to go over you in detail on why you want to do this. And if I can just save one of you from making a mistake of getting an office for your wholesaling business, I've done my job. So I've been doing this 18 years. I've done 4 offices total. And I'm hoping you can learn from my experience because I was stubborn and stupid. And I'm going to walk you through why it doesn't work. So number one, you have to ask yourself the question, why am I getting a real estate office for wholesaling? Why? 9 times out of 10, there's usually one main reason you get an office. It's because your coach or a trainer or a mentor or maybe your friend that wholesales got an office and you feel like that's the proper business thing to do. Don't do it. I'm telling you, if you just do that, the only thing you're servicing is your ego, and your ego will kill you in wholesaling real estate. So remember, your egos, it's your pride, I deserve an office, I need an office. Okay, well, if you want that and somebody advises you, it will 100% feed your ego. That's why I did it, I'm pretty sure. I think at the time, a coach I was hiring had an office and I felt like that's just what I had to do. He had an office, she had an office. That's what made them successful. And I was 100% dead wrong. Now, some people need an office because that's just the way they operate. And we'll talk about that. But if you're just starting out in wholesaling real estate, do not get an office. So let me go over what details when you get an office and what's going to happen to you. Number one, you have an office now. Awesome. Feels great. So let's go over the basic expense of the office. Number one, your rent. Most places, just 800 to a low 1,000 square foot office building is around like $2,000. Now, give or take in some markets, but here in Florida, that's roughly the running rate. If it just stopped there, it wouldn't be the end of the world. But let's think about this. You have to get utilities. You got to pay electric. So at least $100, $150 a month, because the air's got to run 24/7 or the heat. So you got to get water turned on if it's not included in the building. You got to get business services. Did you know that business internet runs twice the cost of what you get at a regular home? The minimum I could get on my last contract, I think was $190 a month. It's the exact same thing you get at home. And by the way, they're going to make you sign a long-term commitment, usually a minimum 2 years, if not 3 years. So if you close up a shop in your business, you are obligated financially to pay that debt. You also have what we call, then you have to get insurance. You have to have a general liability policy. Usually your landlord's going to make you have that. That's another $100 a month. What else? Hopefully garbage is included with your rent. But typically what they do is they have a separate CAM charge, which is referred to as common area maintenance. And they split that up amongst all the tenants there. And that usually runs you a couple $100 a month. And then remember, you have to pay tax on your lease. So this total amount, like, it really adds up, and the taxes sometimes runs up being $150, $200 a month. So if we add it all up, you're basically now approaching around $3,000 a month. And for those of you that know how leases work, to get a good deal on a lease, say you were looking, they quoted you $2,000 on the small retail space, and you go, no, I want a better deal. Well, you got to understand you're dealing with a real estate investor that owns this commercial building. So they're going to say, listen, John, if you sign a 5-year lease, I'll set it at $1,850 a month and you'll get a better deal. But you're on the hook for 60 months. So let's see, 60 months 2 grand. I mean, that's, guys, I mean, it's a lot of money. So let's do it. So basically 60 months, just under 2 grand. You're looking at about up to $120,000 commitment. And remember, you don't own it. It's just an office. So we got the cost out of the way. And by the way, those are all like yearly, if not bi-yearly obligations. So we're roughly at like 3K. So what's the next cost? This one kills me. I'm going to remind you, the reason I got into wholesaling real estate was to gain complete freedom of my time and never be controlled by anybody and spend more time with my family. That's probably going to be your why too. So if you ever worked in the corporate world like I did, for 12 years, I commuted back and forth. I used to commute 100 miles each way to work. Do you know how much time and the toll that took on my body and my mental state of commuting to work? So just say you got to drive 15, 20 minutes across town. So now you're looking at 40 minutes car ride time, plus the gas and wear and tear on your car. And so now, okay, now you got to your office, you've got the obligation, you've committed to the drive time. So you can't roll into your home office anymore or your living room. So you're going to have to give yourself an extra hour every morning. So now instead of starting your mornings at, say, 8 a.m., now you got to start at 7 a.m. And you got to do that 5-6 days a week. So now you're giving up freedom of time. The next one is, I have this office, now what do I do? Let's get some furniture. Yeah, you guys like furniture? I mean, you will get killed on this office furniture. And so now you can't just buy one desk, because you have this vision for all these employees down the road for you. So you buy cubicles, you buy office kits, and you start spending thousands of dollars, or you're reading the IKEA directions and they're driving you nuts. And all of a sudden, you have lost focus on what you got into business truly for. And what happens is once you get all the furniture built, you get the walls painted. Oh, by the way, you got to get signage for your office because everybody's got to know where you are, right? Because our ego, we have to, maybe you put your name on the outside, like Rick Ginn, whatever. Or you put your business name on there. So now you got to sign. I'll be honest with you, now you got to get a permit, another $250 fee through your county. Then the sign's going to cost you probably a couple grand. And then, hey guys, we're in real estate, right? I can make this office look awesome. I can do the build out. You give me a little bit of discount. I'm going to do crown molding. I'm going to paint the walls. I'm going to have this giant vision board. There's another week or two of your time being eaten up. Thousands of dollars again. Do you guys kind of get the vision of it? So let's get into it. Your office is done. It's complete. Now what do? You're probably going to be sitting there by yourself with either your wife, maybe a friend, a partner, and that's it. Because in the reality is, customers do not walk through our door in this business. Our customers are at their house. We specifically target motivated sellers. They are never, ever going to show up in your office. They will show up in your marketing. They will never show up in your office. So I want you to remember that. Marketing versus office. Which would be better spent money? You know where I'm going with this. So you have it. So then you go, okay, well, I have all this. Why don't I go ahead and get some employees, right? Awesome. I have people working for me. Now you have a payroll liability. So you got to process payroll usually on a weekly, if not bi-weekly basis. And the problem is you're going to put a complete stranger. You're probably going to run a Craigslist ad or Indeed. And you're probably, you're going to do a receptionist / assistant. And you figure out you don't even have a process and you don't know what to do. So what you do is you're going to sit at work 8 hours a day and you're going to babysit the employee and you're going to give them commands. You're probably going to drive them nuts and they're going to quit on you. So now you got payroll. Now you have to babysit. Guys, you are literally going back to what you were trying to get out of your entire life, which is the corporate BS you got to follow. Do not make this mistake. I've made it 4 times. Learn from me. So now we have employees. We've established sellers are very rarely ever going to show up to your office. You typically have to go to them, right? We go to their house. And quite honest, they don't care if you have an office or not. We are not real estate agents. And last but not least, we'll go, well, I'll have other investors. They'll network with me and I'll raise private capital. Nobody cares. Investors could give two. They just don't care if you have an office. And if anything, they're going to question why you have an office. So about 6 months into it, you're like, This is a complete waste of money. What am I doing? And then the next trade-off is your marketing is going to suffer because now you've committed $3 to $5 grand a month to run your office, and you're going to cut back on your marketing, which you'd usually spend $2 or $3 grand, but because things are tight, you're going to cut it down to $1,000 a month. And the spiral will continue to follow and follow until you recognize that that office is killing your wholesale business. Listen, the main purpose of getting in this business is freedom of our time and financial freedom. An office does the complete opposite with that. Now, if you have 5 or 6 employees and you need to house them somewhere and you've been established for the business a while, then that's a decision you make with life experience, and you can do that, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if you're just starting out in real estate investing, particularly wholesaling, there is absolutely zero need to have an office. And if you do, it will crush your marketing budget. So here's what I want you to do. I state your name, promise not to open up a wholesale real estate office in my first 2 years of operation. If you just write that down on your vision board, your whiteboard, I'm going to save you a ton of aggravation and a ton of money. What I want you to do is, I just showed you an office going to cost you about $3 grand a month. Take that $3 grand and spend it on your marketing every month if you can afford to do it. I don't care if it's just $1 grand or $500. What I'm saying is at least 80% of your operational expenses should be spent towards marketing. It's what brings you motivated sellers. It what brings you buyers. It's really what makes wholesaling operations work. If you get distracted with an office because a coach or a mentor, you felt like they did it, you need to do it, or maybe you're paying them and you feel obligated to do it, you're just feeding your own ego, and you'll come to the realization sooner or later, why not take that extra 3 or 5 grand and just put it towards your marketing? So once I switched from spending money on an office and do it to marketing, it felt really good. And now I can go anywhere I want. So here's what your office's requirements are, okay? You need to just have a operating laptop, $1,000. An internet access probably costs you $75 to $100 a month. Let's see what else. A good cell phone, but you can get a cheap one, but let's just say you spend $800 to $1,000 on it. And then just get some virtual services, virtual phone numbers, Vumber, CallRail, whatever you use. And then the other one is Zoom. I can meet with anyone, anywhere. I like Zoom because it's structured. Clubhouse is an unstructured communication that's only audio, which is very limited because you can't get the nonverbal cues, which is 60% of communication and sales. So we've just established it shouldn't cost you more than $2 grand to get your home virtual office up and running. You can run it at Starbucks. You can run it at your home. And the reality is you can market as much money as you want, and you have the freedom. If you want to go on vacation, if you want to move to Maine and run your business from there, if you have someone locally that can help you out, that's the beauty of wholesaling. So guys, please do not let anyone advise you in your first 2 years of your wholesale business operation to go get an office. It's just going to feed your ego, and it's going to kill your marketing, and you're going to have to start all over, and it's going to cost you time and money. Offices today, think about this. The people you work with, they want freedom. If we haven't learned anything during this pandemic, we can work virtually. We are entrepreneurs. We are the best at this. So utilize the tools, give the employees the freedoms, make your meetings short and to the point, get your point across, and get out of your employees' way and let them do their job. A true motivated employee loves to work virtually with them because they're striving for a lot of things. They want freedom. They want to spend more time with their family, and they want to share in the company profits. Very rarely are you going to accomplish that with the office because you don't have an unlimited budget. And if you do have an unlimited budget, it will soon become limited. So that's it, guys. I mean, learn from it. I've been doing this 18 years. Every time I did an office, I did more business, but I made less money. I had less time to myself. I had to do a commute. I had to babysit employees. It was a nightmare. And now I have the freedom to work. You guys work with my son, Zach, and he's still a very young man. He can live anywhere he wants in the world, and we can work together. And to me, that has so much more value than an office. Plus, my employees can be anywhere. Guys, we are in a global economy. You can get people from Pakistan or Europe to help you with spreadsheets, to help you with editing videos, whatever you need to do. Why in today's age would you ever be confined to an office? So if you're getting ready to sign a lease, please stop it right now. If I saved you, give me a comment below.